Whatever you're into.
Hello, my name is Christopher, aka Boinga, and as of today, it has been 5 years since Game Builder Garage first released, so I thought I'd play some of the best games and see how good they are, because already Now, this is probably bad for me because I've never actually played Undertale, but probably fine. Yo, this is so cool. This is already so cool. All I know about Undertale is, Funny Skeleton Man. Oh my god, it's Papyrus! Bro, is this custom music too? You can't make custom music in this game, can you? Bro, this is crazy. You got animations and everything. Bro, that's Flowey! Bro, that's what I named in Yoshi in the Mysterious Book livestream. Hello, my name is Christopher, aka Boinga, and as of today, it has been 5 years since Game Builder Garage first released.
Ain't no harm in wandering. There's a bounty of fresh produce delivered daily for the taking.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person.
I know you all bought tickets, but my dad bought the cinema. This is not a joke. Can you guys just leave? I want to watch it by myself.
So annoying.
No big deal. I want
If there's anyone causing issues, we will kick you out. But as I said, I want you guys to have fun with this, so I'm gonna get this movie.
Why was Tails not in the original song?
Scam texts explain.
I got this.
3.
Get up out my face, you doo-doo head done. Hey, Soldier Boy, can I trick go?
You guys still don't believe me about this apple juice, and in case you're confused, supposedly years ago, this apple juice used to make the sound effect of eating an actual.
No. Other way.
What you do in this situation.
Remain calm and tell a trusted adult.
I'd probably be a little mad.
Stop the cap. You didn't break the glass with your voice. Let's slow the video down. As you stop at the right frame for the first glass, you'll see this red dot, which is clearly a BB gun bullet. And you can briefly see it in this frame too, and see that the bullet bounced after hitting the jar. You really can't.
Yo, David making anything a flavor now. We got blue raspberry, Dr. Pepper, and then cherry. What are these flavors, man? Yo, David making anything a flavor now. We got blue raspberry, Dr. Pepper.
This is how I made this hoodie with a.
Bro, am I missing something?
Will Trump?
I tried getting into Disney World with a 46-year-old ticket originally worth $8. It's been collecting dust since before.
Upgrade your phone, not your.
1 second.
The kids all know me. The kids all know me.
Why does everybody think I'm racist, bro?
Why am I so...
Damn. Damn.
Not gonna lie, I did not.
Are you ready? Dog.
Absolutely. He's crushing OutSchool's.
Como tomate com sal, né? Como tomate com sal, né? Como tomate com sal, né?
If you saw my last short,
I microwave a dozen eggs. Boy, science! Oh my god!
So first, the food enters through the mouth and
The sheep was born with stiff joints and a damaged spine, making it in.
The original Nintendo DS uses the same charge port as the Game Boy Advance SP, and the
Grow a Garden 2 is here, and I'm ready to start my villain arc by stealing. Cigarettes.
Can you still hear sound on a DS if the top screen is gone? The speakers are normally up on top, so probably not, but it could work if you plug in a speaker.
Let's see, I'll turn the volume up all the way. Wait, you can actually hear it a little bit. Got my speakers ready? Time for the moment of truth. No way! It actually worked. The sound's coming out of the speakers.
Alright, so here's the bag. It's just a normal bag of Talkie sticks, right?
I am a control freak, which is why I...
Take a look around. 3, 2, 1.
I came, I saw.
Impossible!
This family was rushing to bring their daughter.
In Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you may have noticed that not only does Knuckles have a shorter story than Sonic or Tails, but on Flying Battery, he doesn't even have any exclusive routes. Why is that? In a previous short, I talked about how Flying Battery was originally going to happen after Carnival Night Zone for Sonic and Tails. And to add to that, in some design documentation, we not only see this, but we also see that the rival character who became Knuckles was to have their own Zone 5 instead of Flying Battery. The potential new stage was totally scrapped, and Knuckles was to then skip the zone entirely as he uses a teleporter from Carnival Night to Ice Cap. But in the end, the Guardian of the Master Emerald ended up on the ship, but it may have been a last minute decision since we have Eggman show up as the Act 2 boss instead of Egg Robo. But of course they fixed this in Origins. In Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you may have... Why is this Sonic Zone just a recolor? One zone sticks out in Sonic the Hedgehog.
And now it's time for your useless Sonic fact of the day.
When Sonic first released, the game had no credits. Players thought this was super weird, as this is normally a way to give the hardworking developers the recognition they deserve. But it turns out Sega actually did this on purpose. They wanted Sonic to be tied to the Sega company, not the developers. Lead developer Yuki Naka didn't like this and thought his team was being treated unfairly, so he secretly fought back by hiding the credits within the game. By making the text black and hiding it on a black background, they were completely invisible during normal gameplay. He then added a couple in-game cheat codes, one of which turned the black background white, meaning anyone who used this cheat would be able to see the developers' names. When Sonic first released, the game had no credits. Players thought this was
X is Sonic 2. The worst part about Sonic 2 is that we cannot...
Rec Room is dead, why are there... Rec Room is dead, why are there still players on Steam? Well, that's actually really easy. That's because of Rec Room's private servers, i.e. Radium. Private servers use Rec Room Steam's ID so that they can connect to Steam's infrastructure. The problem with using RR Steam ID is that you need to actually have RR in your Steam library. If you didn't have Rec Room before the shutdown, then you can't actually play. Radium devs are moving from Steam ID soon though, and they are going to go to a different Steam app that everybody secretly has. This may cause issues, we'll have to wait and see, but that's why you see Rec Room on.
So I accidentally discovered the liminal space roller coaster. Here's the story. You guys know by now that I'm an absolute sicko who will do just about anything to pad my coat.
This is how they actually get overweight.
Guys, Chapter 5's been out for like 2 hours. Why is no one playing it? So apparently I forgot to announce the release of Chapter 5. The Nintendo guys are yelling at me. What do I do? Guys.
Flip the switch to turn on. 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 Flip the... Wait a minute, there's no switch to flip. How am I supposed to turn this thing on?
away. Whoever the suckers that took them away.
This is the biggest cinema screen in the world, so they decided to show its size using a few simple comparisons.
This is your TV! Maybe you could squeeze a fridge through that! Now, that one, that's a big cinema screen. But maybe you could drive a freight train through it. But that's nothing. Through this screen, you could fly a real Boeing 737 MAX!
This is the biggest cinema screen.
Well, you're in luck, because I found it for you. The game you're trying to remember is called Soccer Physics.
It's not news, but it's still pretty cool because someone had actually 3D printed golden trophy items. Yes, breaking the golden trophy pot will of course give you coins, and they also did the same for Jumbotron as well. They have this on their Etsy.
He thought taking a bath would make him sick, so for over 60 years he refused to wash, saying the dirt kept him healthy. Instead, he left his home and dug a shallow hole to sleep in. He ate only roadkill and smoked animal poop out of a pipe. And instead of cutting his hair, he burned it over a fire. Over the years, he became the dirtiest man in the world, until someone finally convinced him to take a bath, and he died shortly after. He thought,
I wish I could play Super Mario Bros. On my Game Boy Advance.
Adlib.
Holy! This is exactly why you should never use expand.
For 20 years, cars keep crashing into this one pole, but there's nothing wrong with the road. A woman lives right next to that pole, and the crashes happen so often, sometimes multiple times a day, that she started wrapping it in reflective vest and lights every time it's rebuilt. But nothing works. People kept asking why. Was there a sharp curve, a hill, something blocking the view? So she filmed the drive herself and showed everyone that it's just a straight stretch of road with a barely noticeable left bend right before the pole. She even filmed the drive at night, and it looked the same. Some say drivers are not paying attention, others blame the pole being too close. But there's a theory called target fixation. When drivers focus on an object like this pole, they end up steering towards it without realizing. For 20 years, cars keep crashing.
Guys, what the fuck is this? Oh my fucking god! What the fuck? Stop.
That's it. I'm gonna drive it 50 miles away and let it go.
Oh my god.
Well, I know what they are, and luckily for you, they're not venomous. It is a Jerusalem cricket, also known as potato bug.
Guys,
No matter how tired you are, you will never be as tired as a cat who has done.
The Sunyon meme originally came from this image of actor Anthony Mackie. It was first used in 2021 as a meme when a Facebook user said, "Bruh, Anthony Mackie always looks like he knows something about you." Someone then edited the image and also put the caption "sun" with crying emojis back in September 2025 in the game recommendation subreddit. It was reposted online until February 2026 when someone edited his face into an onion on TikTok with the caption "Sunyon" with crying emojis. People then saw how viral the—
Have you ever heard of hyperpop? It's a maximalist music genre.
Is it possible for AI to invent a new color? So there's exactly 16,777,216 official colors in existence based on
If you shove a brick under the brake pedal while your car is in cruise control, no matter how hard you try to slow down, your car just keeps going. Now, you won't move faster, you just won't stop. You see, when you drink caffeine, it doesn't give you more energy, it just blocks the signal that tells you you're tired. So
I just found the first MacBook I ever touched. Black screen of death on startup, that's wonderful. Oh, great, and now it's dead. Do I even have a charger for this thing? Bro, I hate this charger. One time I saw a flame come out of it. All right, would you turn on now, please? Guys, what Mac OS version is this? Are you kidding? 2 errors already? Anyways, this is a 2015 MacBook Pro. The last Mac with the glowing Apple logo. And this thing was never mine. I only played ABC Mouse on it. It must have been some pretty intensive gameplay though, because this thing's in shambles. Battery's about to explode. It's at over 1,000 charge cycles. Also, what is this? It's definitely seen better days, but somehow it still works. So do I dare upgrade this thing? Let me know. I just found the first MacBook I ever touched.
Luckily for you, I did some research, and this is exactly what I'll do. To start, I found this building on Google Maps, allowing me to geolocate the incident to this exact location in Ontario, Canada. Then I looked through Canada's criminal codes, finding section 430, subsection 1, where her actions are considered mischief or damaging property. We also see that she threw this jar, and I found an exact model of escalating her case to section 267, assault with a weapon, punishable by up to 10 years in prison. So if I were in his shoes, I will file a case with the police.
Doggy is the family tech support.
How about a nice big cup of shut the fuck up? Say wallahi, bro. Say wallahi. Say wallahi, bro. Say wallahi.
Meadow has this feature called Clips You're In, and it lets There's no way.
Here's a secret in Sonic 1 you may not have known about. In Sonic 1's lab...
I was today years old.
If you think my oldest laptop can run Windows 11, I don't know what to tell you. You think a PC with 2 GB of RAM and an Intel Atom can run it smoothly? No, I don't either, but I'm still doing it. I already made the installer, so this shouldn't be that hard. This thing still uses a hard drive. That's gonna make everything 10 times worse. Oh no, how long is this gonna take? Finally, we made it to setup. Oh yeah, we got plenty of space for this. Are you sure about that? Just a few minutes? Oh shoot, they weren't lying. That was fast. Come on, please don't lag. I don't want to install Linux. 3, 2, 1. That was pretty smooth. 1 GB of RAM, 1 GB, and it's running. If you subscribe, I'll try running Roblox. If you think my oldest laptop can run Windows 11, I don't know what to tell you. You think a PC with 2 GB of RAM and an Intel Atom can run it smoothly? No, I don't either, but I'm still doing it. I already made the installer, so this shouldn't be that hard. This thing still uses...
I love Zelda, but this one is...
If you think my oldest laptop can run Windows 11, I don't know what to tell you. You think a PC with 2 GB of RAM and an Intel Atom can run it smoothly? No, I don't either, but I'm still doing it. I already made the installer, so this shouldn't be that hard. This thing still uses a hard drive. That's gonna make everything 10 times worse. Oh no, how long is this gonna take? Finally, we made it to setup. Oh yeah, we got plenty of space for this. Are you sure about that? Just a few minutes? Oh shoot, they weren't lying. That was fast. Come on, please don't lag. I don't want to install Linux. 3, 2, 1. That was pretty smooth. 1 GB of RAM, 1 GB, and it's running. If you subscribe, I'll try running Roblox. If you think my oldest laptop can run Windows 11, I don't know what to tell you. You think a PC with 2 GB of...
I love Zelda, but this one is extremely difficult. This one is nothing like the first. There is way too much backtracking in this one. This game probably has the worst camera controls I've ever played. The islands are way too small in this one. This game has the worst controls. I already played this on my Game Boy in 1993. Wait, Tears of the Kingdom, didn't I skip one? Ah, Breath of the Wild, finally the perfect Zelda game. I love Zelda, but this one is extremely difficult. This one is nothing like the first. There is way too much backtracking in this one.
What happens if you mix the blackest black with the whitest white?
You would think you'd get the grayish gray, but the blackest black is so black, the mix will just end up black.
What happens if you don't get off at the last stop of a Paternoster?
The elevator loops around and you'll start going down.
What happens when you try to drink from the world's longest straw? So let me suck it up.
Nothing. The atmospheric pressure cannot push the liquid at this height, regardless of how hard they suck.
Are you safe from a nuclear weapon attack?
No, sorry, you're not.
What exactly was the prompt they used to generate Tung 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 Sahur?
He claims it was generate a picture of Batman, but due to DC licensing, the AI took it too literally. But it's a myth. In reality, it was this prompt.
What happens if you mix the blackest black with the whitest white?
You would think you'd get the grayish gray, but the blackest black...
If you broke a thermometer on the plane, the mercury could slowly eat through the aluminum, where the metals could react together, breaking it down into weak, spaghetti-thin strands that can snap with almost no force. Left alone, it could tear a hole through the aircraft. But there's one catch. Aluminum protects itself with a layer of oxide, so unless it hits a scratch in the perfect spot, it probably won't do much damage.
Playing a 2000s browser game in 2020.
I tried anti-scream devices, starting with this belt box, which is used by singers to dampen their voice during warm-ups, and it promises to reduce sound by up to 30 decibels, which is a big claim. After unboxing it and putting it on, it felt like a human muzzle, but did feel pretty solid, and so I first established a baseline with this scream. Ah! And then after that, screamed again with the belt box. And it actually worked really well. It didn't mute me completely, but it certainly let me be as loud as I wanted to be. Afterwards, I went to level 2, which is a Chinese voice dampener called the Troy Studio, and this is interestingly used more so for stress relief and anger management. Now, it looked a bit suspicious, but it did promise to give me 32 decibels of suppression, which is more than the belt box. I gave it a try, and these were the results. So it felt pretty similar, which meant that it was time for level 3, the sweatshirt. Apparently screaming into a cotton sweatshirt gives you nearly 50 decibels of suppression, and so I loaded up my scream, put the sweatshirt against my mouth, and yelled as loud as I could over and over again, but hardly any sound was made. Pretty cool. I tried anti-scream devices.
Will the Nintendo DS have a Y2K bug? Well, it would actually be a Y2.1K bug, as the year the Nintendo DS can only be set up to is year 2099. And the DS would actually need to survive till then, and go-to game Mario Kart DS doesn't even need a date. But for now, we can just set the date and time to a few minutes before midnight, and it just rolls back to year 2000, what a surprise. Will the Nintendo DS have a Y2K bug? Well, it would actually be a Y2.1K bug, as the year the Nintendo DS can only be set up to is year 2099. And the DS would actually need to survive
What if your browser knew exactly what you...
If you squeeze all of the air out of your bottle after you pour yourself a drink and you put the cap back on, I promise you, if you do this every time you open the bottle and put it back into the refrigerator or back on the counter, it will stay carbonated for as long as you have the bottle.
Stop the cap. According to this formula, the fizz is sustained through the headspace pressure, hotness, and a tight cap. So, by collapsing the bottle before screwing the cap, the inside pressure drops, meaning that more fizz escapes. To actually keep the fizz, just screw it tight and keep it in the fridge.
If you squeeze all of the air out of your bottle after you...
These are emergency numbers that everybody should know. So 741-741 is the texting version of 911 where you can enter a text-based counseling session if you don't want to speak out loud. In many buildings, if you dial 933 on the office phone, it will trigger an automated voice that reads you back your exact location in case you're ever kidnapped. 911 operators will use this to know exactly where you are in a building. This number is called the pep talk number, and you'll hear kindergartners giving you life advice or words of encouragement if you're ever upset. And if you call this number, then an AI voice...
I mean, how the hell is anyone supposed to afford to...
This is the craziest theme park in the UK. Here you can take part in a horse...
This is the first me I ever made, and I'm going to put him in Tomodachi Life. Now, I could just remake the me using the editor, but I want this me specifically. So here is how...
What is this?
Nope. Attendance. Whoa, hey, what time is it? Grab a seat. Don't make this a habit. Who decided to join us? Hey, come on in, we're about to get started. I was getting worried about you. Hey, hold on. Hey, no, you're good. Class hasn't started yet, but you gotta tell me about that game last weekend. Just stick around after class. Oh, look who decided to show up. Class, this is what entitlement looks like. Nope. Attendance. Whoa, hey, what time is it? Grab a seat.
When the roller coaster drops, your intestines float up as the rest of you falls down. And as the ride goes on, you would feel like your organs are moving out of place until you finally come to a stop. You see, your intestines are pretty loosely held inside your body. So when you start to fall, your organs lag behind because they aren't rigidly attached. This creates a split second of near weightlessness, which makes the nerves around them blast signals up to your brain, giving you the feeling that your stomach has dropped. When the roller coaster drops, your intestines float up as the rest of you falls down. And as the...
If you've been thinking about starting a weight loss medication, this is your moment. I had seen my friends have such great...
Before I get rid of my iPhone 3GS, let's downgrade it to the first iOS version. Right now it's running iOS 6, and I want to downgrade to iPhone OS 1. Wait, let me just make sure it's possible first. Bro, what the hell? We can only go down to iOS 3. I guess let's just do that instead. It should be stable, right? Start restore, let's go. Well, goodbye iOS 6, you won't be missed. Guys, are we cooked? We might actually need to use a different Mac for this. Here we go, please work this time. Are you kidding? 54 hours, bro? Okay, finally, let's try this again. Guys, is this normal? Oh my gosh, that's the iconic wallpaper, finally. Should I send this thing back on iOS 3? Let me know. Before I get rid of my iPhone 3GS, let's downgrade it to the first iOS version. Right now it's running iOS 6, and I want to downgrade to iPhone OS 1. Wait, let me just make sure it's possible first. Bro, what the hell? We can only go down to iOS 3. I guess let's... It's over. Google just killed all Chromebooks. I know, I can't believe it, but it's finally happening. Literally just seconds ago, Google announced that they're replacing Chromebooks with Google Books. And the best part is, Chrome OS is going away too. Now, these so-called Google Books are apparently gonna run Android. But don't you worry, they will still have all our favorite Chrome OS features. Like this terrible RAM management. And of course, AI is gonna be shoved up the entire operating system. They didn't say anything about hardware, but I sure hope it's better than this. So let me know, should I buy the Google Book and install Windows on it? It's over. Google just killed all Chromebooks. I know, I can't believe it, but it's finally happening. Literally just seconds ago, Google announced that they're replacing Chromebooks with Google Books. And the best part...
Jane runs a camp.
If you're not 6 feet tall, you are...
They use a sharp knife to cut the fin off the shark before throwing it back in the water. But without the fins, the shark can't swim, leading to a slow and painful death. The fin is then made into soup, which is served at weddings as a symbol of wealth. But since it's mostly made of tissue, it really just tastes like nothing. And it's actually the broth that gives the soup flavor, meaning millions of sharks die every year for no good reason.
AI that was too powerful to release to the public because it's really good at hacking and it escaped containment, well,
they just released it to the public. Fable 5 is Mythos, the most powerful AI model ever released, with one big caveat. If you start asking it deep questions about biology, chemistry, cybersecurity, it will downgrade you to a less smart model. It's kind of like if the best doctor in the world also happened to be a vampire. Say you have a broken bone or a tore ACL, he's the best in the business. But if there's blood in that room, get him out of there. Get another doctor in here.
remember the AI that was too powerful to release to the public because it's
fake bowling ball, real bowling ball.
Sound too low? Here's how to fix it. Open SoundMax. Instant volume boost up to 600%.
This gaming studio turned down $2 billion and ended up paying the price. Rovio is a small gaming studio in Finland founded by 3 university students back in 2003. Over the years, they made 52 games, but all of them were failures. By 2009, they had fired staff until they were down to just 12 people, and they only had enough money left for exactly 1 game. And that's when a designer named Jaakko Isalo showed the remaining team his sketch. They built an entire game off this concept art. It took them 8 months and they had a $25,000 budget, so the team wasn't even confident that the game would do well at all. But after our co-founder's mother burned her Christmas turkey because she was so distracted by the pre-release version, Rovio knew they had something. Angry Birds released in December 2009 and became the #1 app in the world just a few months later. After 3 years of success, an anonymous buyer tried to purchase Rovio for $2 billion, but the team turned it down. They thought they were too big to fail, and while Angry Birds did see years of growth with spin-offs and movies, the company was ultimately bought out by Sega in 2023 for $700 million, less than half the original offer. This gaming studio turned down $2 billion and ended up paying the price.
In Super Mario 64, it's possible to scale the game on its y-axis by using a ROM hack that Rovertronic made. This is what the game looks like at ×5. You can also scale the game with negative numbers. When you scale the game to -1, it pretty much just flips the game upside down. So every hill becomes a valley and every valley becomes a hill. Another thing you can do is scale the courses to 0. This lets you play through the game with the courses completely flat. A level like Tick-Tock Clock now becomes trivial since all the collectibles are so close to each other. In Super Mario 64, it's possible to scale the game on its y-axis by using a ROM hack that Rovertronic made. This is what the game looks like at ×5. You can also scale the game with negative numbers. When you scale the game to -1, it pretty much just flips the game upside down. So every hill becomes a valley and every valley becomes a hill. Another thing you can do is scale the courses to 0. This lets you play through the game with the courses completely flat. A level like Tick-Tock Clock now becomes trivial since all the collectibles are so close to each other. In Super Mario 64, it's possible to scale the game on its y-axis by using a ROM hack that Rovertronic made. This is what the game...
Hans, I need you to type out a text back to my...
I accidentally forgot my iPad password. Bro, I tried everything and it still won't work for some reason. What could it be? I don't want to enter the wrong thing again. Oh no, I just disabled it for like the 10th time. I guess our only choice now is to just reset it. You think doing this is faster than just waiting 60 minutes for it to enable itself? Also, why is it installing iPadOS? This thing runs iOS. Okay, I just came back. It should be done now. Please? Yup, there we go. How dare you ask me this? I'm not creating a password again. Let's go, we're finally back. So let me know, what app should I test on this iPad mini 1st gen? I accidentally forgot my iPad password. Bro, I tried everything and it still won't work for some reason. What could it be? I don't want to enter the wrong thing again. Oh no, I just disabled it for like the 10th time. I guess our only choice now is to just reset it. You think doing this is fast?
Here are some things that everybody misremembers. So we're all aware of the iconic Air Jordan logo where Michael Jordan assumes the pose and is dunking in his uniform, right? Except he's actually wearing sweatpants in the logo and is modeled off of this picture. Chuck E. Cheese, the restaurant we all know and love, well, maybe, is actually Chuck E. Cheese's and even says so in their official filings. On this topic, 7-Eleven is often remembered to be written as 7-11, right? But it's actually 7-11 with the N being the only letter that's lowercased. Speaking of spelling, Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians is actually spelled DeVille. Fitting. Gaming fans, I'm sure you remember playing the first level of Super Mario Bros. With the Goombas, Mushroom, and Piranha Plants, right? Well, the Piranha Plants don't actually appear in the first level. And then lastly, Taco Bell does not serve medium sauce. It's mild, hot, fire, and Diablo. Pretty crazy, right? Here's...
Upgrade your phone, not your...
Now, if I just start cranking, the car probably won't start because I don't have the key on.
Now, if I have the key
You might have seen this video and wondered what the heck is happening here and what's with that consistency. See, this is not water. It's one of the most interesting and least practical ways to cool a computer, mineral oil. See, unlike water, mineral oil isn't conductive, so you could pour it all over electronics without shorting anything out. It also has really good heat absorption, so it could suck up and spread out the heat from the parts very efficiently. Wait, no way. I was just looking at a list of non-conductive oils. Baby oil is not conductive. 500,000 likes, I'll fly out White Carter PCs, and we're building the baby oil PC. You might have seen this video and wondered what the heck is happening.
Hey, it's me, your skin.
He ate fries, potato chips, and white bread for every meal. And that's basically all he ever ate since he was young. But something started to go wrong. You see, his nerves should have carried messages from his eyes to his brain, while a fatty coating protected them. But his diet didn't give his body what it needed to repair this fatty coating. And eventually, it got so thin on the nerve that controlled his vision that the messages never made it to his brain. And by 17, this caused him to go legally blind, all because of the junk food. He ate fries, potato chips, and white bread for every meal. And that's basically all he ever ate since he was young. But something started to go wrong. You see, his nerves should have carried messages from his eyes to his brain, while a fatty coating
In this box is the worst laptop you'll ever see. Don't say I didn't warn you. You guys are not prepared. I'm pretty scared myself. This thing was only $30. Oh no, let's gear up. What the hell am I looking at? Why did you send me underwear? Thanks for the new socks. I really needed these. I just want my laptop, that's all. Is the seller actually trying to rage bait me? Why is this mouse so tiny? You know, I'm not even gonna ask any questions. At least we got the laptop. It's a 15-year-old piece of crap, the Asus EEPC. Look how dirty this thing is though. I don't want to touch it. Don't worry, sir. I got this. Let's just clean it real quick. Okay, it better turn on now. Come on. Wait, we got some lights. Ooh, it's actually starting. Oh man, it's running Windows 7 Starter. So if everyone subscribes, I'll install Linux while wearing these socks. In this box is the worst laptop you'll ever see. Don't say I didn't warn you. You guys are not prepared. I'm pretty scared myself. This thing was only $30. Oh no, let's gear up. What the hell am I looking at? Why did you send me underwear? Thanks for the new socks. I really needed these. I just want my laptop, that's all. Is the seller actually trying to rage bait me? Why is this mouse so tiny? You know, I'm not even gonna ask any.
Instantly adapt any track to match your.
This is the unbearable itch, and it was used as a form of sabotage in World War II. So let's see how this stuff actually works. Inside the vial is a collection of microscopic fibers and hook-like materials that latch onto clothing, causing an extreme itching sensation. So British Special Forces would sneak it behind enemy lines and into German laundry facilities. And they'd coat the Germans' bedding, uniforms, and even undergarments, causing so much chaos that a German ship famously had to dock because of itchiness. This is the
I just built a budgeting app.
What? How?
Base 44. Look, it pulls all our expenses into one place and breaks down spending by team.
Guys, Nina just built an app.
Impossible. Nina can't code. Interesting. Can it generate reports?
It can now.
Nice. That's actually pretty good.
Good morning, bushwhackers. Today we're venturing into the heart of the forest to find a plant that's as beautiful as it is deceptive. Poison oak. We all know about it, and here in Pennsylvania it's not as common, but still something to look out for. And here on we aim to uncover all the wonderful secrets that nature has to offer, no matter how minuscule or gigantic. So let's get going, shall we? Found primarily in deep North American woodlands, poison oak has many different names and places of origin, also referred to as the tree of heaven. Imagine that? In China and Taiwan, one of these invasive species made its way to America in the 1700s and took its ground here boldly. As many of us know, it's infamous.
Hello, Mr. I'm Officer Gomez. Hope you're doing well today. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions regarding your condition and possibly unholiness within your home that your family had mentioned? Okay, first and foremost, did you notice any onset symptoms before you lost complete mobility of your body? Face, huh? When did you begin seeing this face? Interesting. Many of the people who have seen the broadcast that you saw on August the 13th described having vivid and upsetting hallucinations. Do you think this is something your brain has created? Can you please describe this face to me? I still don't see it. Have you been having any hallucination aside from the face? I'm sorry to hear that. Are these screams constant? Thank you. You shedding light on this is helping more than you know.
Listen closely. Do you hear it? You will hear the laughter of thousands as the sky opens up. You will hear the trumpets play their happy sounds. The scalding blood of life will pour down onto us all. Together, we will be still. Together, a feast fit for a king. Together, melded by love and purest connection. Be still.
Chewy knows cats are particular. Like if they don't love their food, they just won't eat. or how they can hear treats,
Whatever you do at the crossroads, don't turn left. This is the first line in a book that Avery claims he did not write. 2 weeks ago, a YouTube channel called Avery the Mayo uploaded a YouTube video titled Weird Book I Did Not Write, where he shows us a mine that supposedly he never built. Inside the mine is a chest that Avery did not place, and inside the chest is a book that Avery did not write. Inside the book is a very strange message. Whatever you do at the crossroads, don't turn left. Don't be fooled, it's listening. You can't outsmart it, it's listening to me. It's watching me. It isn't from this world. At the crossroads, don't turn left. 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 Over and over, followed by a sequence of numbers. And that's it. It seems impossible that a whole mine just appears in your world without your knowledge, but Avery explains in the description of the video that the laptop he's playing on is from a storage locker. It already had Minecraft installed and this world already existed, but when Avery first loaded it up, it was just a normal world. He only now discovered this mine a few hundred blocks from his house. So in that case, what is this book? The contents are strange and it's not evident what they refer to. If anything, they just sound like some crazy rambling, but the numbers at the end are clearly some sort of code, so maybe we can solve it and figure out what this book is talking about. Except we can't. The numbers go higher than 26, so it's not any alphabetical code. There are 4 sections, not 3, so it isn't coordinates. And in fact, there's not a single cipher that comes up as a good match for this code. If it is a code, it's unlike any code I've ever seen, and I wasn't able to decipher it. So is that it? A strange one-off YouTube video and a dead end? Not quite, because for 2 frames at the very end of the video, Avery's inventory flashes a random pattern of blocks, and this time there is a code, because taking the first letter of the name of every block and capitalizing it if there is more than one, you get a string that perfectly matches the length of a Google Drive link, that when you enter takes you to a folder. And this is where the true mystery begins. The mystery of a Minecraft world that doesn't exist. Opening the video named Footage 1, we can see a player in the exact same spot Avery was in the last video, except now he has way more items than he had last time. Presumably this is from his house, and he's come to use this mine in survival as part of this world. The book is now gone from the chest, but it could be that Avery just burned it because it creeped him out, or it's just this book in his inventory. Regardless, Avery lines up with the other strip mine and begins to start a new one into the wall, but when he does, he finds this. Nothing weird, it's just a cave, and Avery walks in to begin exploring, until he stops and sees this. It's hard to make out, but as he walks closer we can see what it is. Moss. And grass. This is immediately a red flag because this kind of terrain does not generate in caves. Avery checks underneath it, but there's nothing else either. And when he runs back to grab his torches, he notices yet another patch of moss in the corner of the cave. Again, not natural, but not leading anywhere either. It's only when he heads back down the cave does he see it. A tree. Avery approaches the clump of greenery, and there it is. A tree unlike any other oak tree in the entire game. Whatever this is, it isn't normal. Avery backtracks a bit, and we get a better look at this shrub, for lack of a better word. And after some hesitation and circling around it, Avery decides to try mining the tree. And he does, with no problem. It looks just like a normal tree, except normal trees don't generate underground. And it's not the only one. As Avery goes deeper and deeper into the cave, he passes larger and larger patches of greenery, coming across more shrubs and even more trees, and even more moss. He pauses to talk at one point, but instead of commenting on the trees, he brings up something else. It's weird, we've only seen stone. And I guess he's right, the walls of this cave don't have any diorite, granite, andesite, or ores, but come on, there's a bigger elephant in the room here. At some point though, Avery's wish gets granted and the cave turns into terracotta, tuff, and deep slate. The greenery gets larger and larger, with the trees growing bigger and bigger. Until finally, Avery reaches the end. Avery stops for several long seconds, just taking everything in. The room is a giant cave of green, with strange, unnaturally large trees forming a staircase on the back wall. The floor is covered in a massive field of moss, scattered with the strange trees we saw earlier. Avery slowly heads down the cavern wall, being careful not to take too much damage while maneuvering his way to the bottom. He looks around in awe as he explores the chamber, and from closer up, we can see a tunnel right between the massive tree gates. Avery searches around the trees for a few minutes, seemingly mesmerized by the build, and we can see that these gates are made of trees stacked on trees stacked on trees, made of spruce, mud, and oak. But the question here is obvious. What is this place? This kind of terrain obviously doesn't generate naturally, so who made it and how does it just appear in Avery's world? Well, if there's any answer to that question, it's through this tunnel, because finally Avery decides to stop sightseeing and heads down the tunnel at the center of the room. Avery walks through the mud brick tunnel, turning to glance behind him every few steps, but of course, nothing is there. The world is set to single player. At least, it seems that way. Until this happens.
Now we gotta go help people customize and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Maybe where's the golf cart?
Something is wrong. It's almost impossible to notice, but at the far edge of the tunnel, the first pair of torches have suddenly been wiped out. Avery stares for a few seconds and continues walking. Another pair of torches is gone. I'm not scared of torches turning off. And then another. I don't know what kind of practical joke this is, but I already heard you in the... I'm not scared of a game. I don't know why I just jumped down. I wasn't scared. But I felt compelled. I've never felt like that in my life. What is going on here? Things just went from strange to incredibly creepy in a matter of seconds. This doesn't just happen on a normal world, but Avery did say he found this world on a computer he got from a storage locker. So maybe this is just a world that the old owner of this computer created, and it's just some strange adventure horror map. Case closed. Except it's not, because the video files aren't the only thing in this Google Drive folder. If you remember, there's also this PDF, and opening it, we see this. My exploration into a strange tunnel I found in my Minecraft world. I've been playing this world for a while and just discovered this. This is my documentation of the search. Notably, when I installed Minecraft, this world came pre-created. Always thought that was a little strange, but I'm not really sure. This seems okay enough, but remember what Avery said earlier. He found this computer in a storage locker with Minecraft installed. Not he installed Minecraft and this world was there. Admittedly, it's a pretty small difference, but still, why the conflicting stories? Something you may have also noticed that I can't explain is why Avery's name is now censored. He wasn't censored in the previous videos, but now he's both hidden his name and changed his skin, almost like he's hiding from something. But there's still a lot more of this footage, and if you want to figure out what's happening in this world, why it exists, and what it has to do with Avery, we have to keep watching as Avery runs from whatever it is that's hiding in this world. Avery says he has to keep moving, even if he doesn't exactly know why, and the only way to go is down. Avery takes a leap into the giant pool of water before him and swims down into a junction of tunnels. After some hesitation, he burrows himself in the left wall for air before swimming down the left tunnel. He continues to navigate through the dark water, the tunnel getting narrower and narrower, with no end in sight. Until it opens into a giant cavernous room with just enough space at the top to get a bit of air. When Avery descends again, we can see tunnel openings sprawling across the walls. Avery scans around. There's no marker of where to go, just tunnels upon tunnels as far as the eye can see. And then he hears it. The same sound as when the whispers played previously. Avery rushes to dig into the wall, and as he blocks himself in, we can hear the whispers again. Quieter, but still there, as if they're passing by him. When the coast is clear, Avery digs out. But now what? He has no choice but to gamble on a tunnel and hope it's correct. He scans the walls again, no obvious sign of which one to pick. So finally, he rolls the dice. The tunnel leads to another junction, and again, after a slight hesitation, Avery goes left. The tunnel continues, getting narrower and narrower and narrower, until finally he finds himself in the oasis. Avery looks around the room, strangely, almost peaceful. He's in the middle of a square pond, flanked on all sides by the same uncanny trees. He stares off at the water for a second before towering up and getting a good look around. Nothing but trees as far as the eye can see. For a moment, he pauses, before something snaps, and he crafts a boat to get to the center of the lake. Without hesitation, he dives down into the tunnel and plugs up the hole. He makes another trip for good measure, plugging it even further. If this thing comes through here again, it has to break that, but I need to explore. He sails back to the edge of the lake. What it can't avoid doing is loading the chunk. Avery chops a few trees and crafts a hopper with the spare iron in his inventory. His plan is simple: set a trap for the thing following him. But wait, did I miss something? Because how does he know that something is following him? Sure, those torches turned off, and yeah, we heard those noises before, but there's actually an even stronger piece of evidence I haven't mentioned. Remember when Avery said this? "I already heard you in the cave." Well, it took me a second to figure out what exactly he meant, but then I heard this. It's almost impossible to make out, but on a few separate instances while Avery was walking in that original cave, he would randomly pause for a second or two, and now we know why. He was listening. Every time he paused, for just a brief moment, you could hear footsteps on the stone behind him, stopping just a fraction of a second too late to be quiet. But okay, if something is somehow really following Avery in a single player world, how can he stop it, or at least get it to reveal itself? Well, that's exactly what he's doing right now. Like he said, he needs time to look around and explore this world, but while he's gone, anything can just swim through the hole and replace the blocks to make it look like nothing happened. But if Avery turns down his render distance and puts items in this hopper, if he then goes far enough away and unloads the chunk, the only way for the hopper to be empty when he returns is if something loaded the chunk while he was gone. And then, whatever was following him would be exposed. The trap is set. Now it's time to explore. Avery walks through the trees, avoiding the lake so as to not load the chunk. Every inch of this place looks exactly the same. The same gray floor, the same strange trees. Everywhere he looks, there's nothing. Until, just in the corner of the screen, there's a sign. But it's hard to spot, and Avery doesn't seem to see it, and he keeps walking. Then he pauses. Interesting. That's the third sign we've seen so far. What? Where? Third sign? I've only seen this one, but it turns out he's right. Going back and re-watching the footage, just barely hidden in the corners of the screen are two other signs Avery crossed earlier in the recording, though he gave no indication at the time that he noticed them. Avery goes back to all three signs. All of them are blank, so I don't know what to make of it, but Avery seems to be satisfied and he explains why. These signs all seem to point to one place. Both of these angled ones point in the same direction. And he's right. If you line up a coordinate grid with the location and rotation of the signs, you get this. So he's right, all of them point a certain way, and if you trace out their intersection, it hits one specific point. He also pulls off this brilliant move which you rarely see from these protagonists by turning the difficulty to peaceful because he ran out of food. Absolutely genius. But with that said, he returns to the lake to check on his contraption. And nothing showed up. Items are still flowing out of the hopper, which would be impossible if anything had loaded the chunk. Avery tells us exactly this. Nothing came through. Not to mention, the blocks are still in the same position Avery placed them to plug the hole. Now that he's shaken off whatever was following him, Avery sails back, presumably to find the intersection points of the signs. But before he does that, he opens up chat and says this. Something is here. What? How? Why is Avery saying that? Why isn't he sending it in chat? What did he see? I don't know if it can hear me, but I'm not taking any chances. The grass block. When Avery left the chunk, he didn't just set one trap for the entity, he set two. Without mentioning anything to us, he placed a grass block next to a block of dirt. In Minecraft, grass can't spread if the chunk isn't loaded. The only way that this block is now grass is if something other than Avery loaded this chunk. I'm not scared, but my gut says to keep moving. maybe I am scared. The other sign was pointed head on.
I failed you so many times. I committed so many crimes, and I was pretty sure of myself. You gave me reasons to be somebody else. Baby, I'm home again. I thought that I could run away.
Avery walks through a tunnel. A tunnel which quickly turns into a maze. And slowly but surely, dead end after dead end, Avery navigates through it.
To be somebody else, it's alright. Baby, here I am. I was lost. Now I'm found again. It's alright. Baby, here I am. It's alright.
Avery is clearly smart. Smart enough to set a trap, and smart enough to set a backup. But whatever this thing is that's following him, it's smart too. Smart enough to block up the tunnel it entered from. Smart enough to refill the hopper with items after loading the chunk. Smart enough to hide its presence. This world seems to be guiding Avery somewhere. The whispers in this tunnel coercing him to enter the cave. The signs pointing to the secret entrance under the tree. Whatever this world is, it's leading Avery. But to what? We don't know. All we do know is that he isn't alone. And finally, Avery exits the maze into another giant room with what looks like a cipher above a door, with 3 levers right in front of it. Avery stares up at it, says he'll need a pen and paper, and blocks up the tunnel where he came from. The footage ends with him staring up at the code, deep in thought. From what I can see, the code atop the doorway looks something like this. It doesn't immediately remind me of anything, and plugging it into a cipher decoder gives me no ideas either. Running each of the candidate ciphers just gives gibberish every single time. Whatever this code is, there's unfortunately no way that I, or Avery, can solve it. The second half of the footage picks up with 17 minutes of just staring at the wall. And then he gets it. Okay, I guess it was solvable. Avery says it's a good poem, but doesn't actually reveal what it said, only that it uses cipher stacking, a technique where 2 ciphers are layered one on top of the other to make a code almost undecipherable. How Avery actually solved it with a pen and paper is beyond me, but the puzzle isn't over yet. There's still this gate, which Avery suspects is some sort of combination lock, but instead of a pen and paper, his solution this time is a bit more, how do I put this? Efficient. And with that, wait. Who's Durlord 3? For the first time in this footage, Avery's sensor bar lingers for just a second too short, and we get a glimpse of the name. This isn't Avery's name. This isn't Avery's skin. Maybe the reason that we got two different stories about where this world came from is because the player we've been watching this entire time isn't Avery at all. But if that's the case, then who is this? The world at the beginning is clearly the same one that Avery was playing on. So what's going on here? If it is Avery on an alt account, why the conflicting stories in the description and the document? And if it's not Avery, then who is this other person and why are they claiming that this is their world they found? I genuinely just don't know, but the only way to find out is to keep watching as Durlord walks through the tunnel after the puzzle and finds himself in the village.